Thomas Dybdahl on Pure Channel. Thank you, Thomas, for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure for us too. And you just been playing in Europavox. I was in the room, and people seem really happy and receiving well your music.
All right, 2 more times. Come on, it's a big room. Scream it out.
Was it a good moment for you too? You seem really happy on stage.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. You could sense that people were, they were there to have a good time, and always when you play stuff like this and you haven't been there before and you're not a big name, then you always know that most people are waiting for the last act anyways. So you can get all sorts of reactions, but I thought they were great. I mean, they were singing along and they seemed to enjoy themselves. So we feed off that anyways. If people are good, we're good. So it was cool.
You have some very groovy songs on that record, songs, and also very intimate. And what was amazing is the room is really big. There's a lot of people. They seem to dig every single genre of your music. The soft one, they were really in attention, and the groovy one, it was moving.
Well, it's sort of like a luxury thing when you play a festival. If you're playing only 40 minutes or 45 minutes, it's a great thing because you can pick all the songs that you feel are gonna work the best, and you try to make like a set that doesn't have any of the dips, and so it's in that sense it's really cool to play somewhere, not being a headliner and playing for an hour and a half. 45 minutes is great.
It's a best of gig.
Yeah, but it's cool though. I like it, and like I said before, if people are good and attentive and stuff, it makes you better on stage because you feel that you can actually do what you're supposed to do, and you can play what you're supposed to play, and it's audible, it's hearable, and you can get into it. The worst gigs ever are when people are just chatting away and you can't even hear what you're playing, because how the hell can you play like a good gig then? So it was very cool. People were cool.
Now I want to talk about the record, songs. It's an amazing record. The first question I had is it for you a love record? Talking about happiness, hopes, deception, also about love, or maybe just about woman, but is it for you, is it the main theme, the link in between the songs?
Well, there are definitely some songs about some specific women in my life. Some of them are in my life, but some of them are out of my life for a long time. But I guess it all comes down to writing. When you write something, you gotta feel inspired by something, moved by something, and nothing kind of moves you more than being in love, or being unhappily in love, or being dumped, or whatever. All these things, they make you feel something, and I think that's why so many songs get written about it, because it's what makes your blood boil, kind of. But then, there are other songs.
Yeah, I know there are songs. There's another very important thing on that record, of course, is your voice. And while listening the tracks, I was thinking, you change your voice. Sometimes it's very deep, almost like a crooner. Rain Down on Me could be a modern way of being Elvis, but then sometimes you're very high, like on song, and it grooves and it's sexual, like maybe Prince could do some groovy high stuff like that. Is it a game for you to change, not only a game but a pleasure, to change your voice and to sing your words differently each track with of course?
Well, it's mostly just about getting it to work. I mean, sometimes, well, a lot of times especially when you're doing vocals and stuff, if it's not 100% right, it just feels like it's like an alien element on the song. It feels like something that's plastered on top of everything else. so that's why, you know, I always try to work with different, you know, what fits this song. Do I have to, like, sometimes I even pitch the vocals, you know, I do a take and then I pitch it down, just, you know, because I'm not a purist in any sense of the word, you know. I don't want my vocals to be, you know, 100% natural. I want to screw them up a little bit, so sometimes we pitch it down, sometimes we even pitch it up. I mean, for that for the song you mentioned, Songs, I pitched it up actually. I sung it deeper and then we pitched it up to get a quality that I don't have.
Double them sometimes also, no?
Yeah.
All's not lost.
Yeah. And this pitch thing is also, you mentioned Prince, and Prince is, you know, he's one of my favorites from growing up and even now. And he did this stuff a lot. And even stuff like Sly and the Family Stone, they did that as well a couple of times. They pitch it because it brings it something that you know, it feels a little bit weird, but it's cool. I don't know. Sometimes it's just fun to mess it up.
One of your songs, I'm looking for it, where you have that way of growing up the notes, and arriving to the, like Prince did.
I listened a lot to Prince growing up because I had two older brothers. They were like 7 and 10 years older than me, and they were like 80s poster children. I mean, Prince was the thing, you know. He was the big thing. So I don't know. I think I've seen that Lovesexy live concert that he did, released on VHS. I think I've seen it about 1,000 times.
Yes, that ability to make a soft song, cool song, very sexual and sensual also. And that's something we tried with it. We tried it most with this last record. I wanted it to be kind of, you know, well, it's weird talking about it, but you want it to be kind of sensual in a sense. And there's another thing there, you know, with my favorite record of all time is the most sexy record ever. It's the Voodoo record by D'Angelo, and it's you know, it's you know, sometimes you can pull it off, sometimes you can't pull it off. So I hope we didn't, you know, try too hard, but we just wanted to have like a little, you know, me, but just a little bit more like groovy. And is it how you work? You find the stability of your track with the guitars first?
Well, I consider myself mostly a guitar player because that's what I started doing. You know, and I haven't been singing for a long time, but I've been playing guitar for a long time. So it's usually always how I start. You know, by just, you know, I love to just build things like a puzzle where you start with one figure, and then you build on top of it, and then just get like a tapestry going. I love that, and especially if you do like different, if the rhythm is kind of frantic, but you do it differently for every track, so you get like a ping pong thing. It's very, it moves it forward pretty much, because I don't really use too much like regular drums. It's not that often that I have a whole drum kit and the guy's playing. You know, it's more just elements.
The record is full of those ambient sounds that give the intimacy to the record. Was it recorded a lot of live? You know, the guitars, the saxophone on. There's a crazy saxophone at the ending of a song, something real. You know?
Yeah. I usually never record, you know, different things on top of each other. Because I've never been to like a real studio to do these albums. I've done them at home or in my room or wherever, and that just means that I'm never doing lots of different things at once. I'm always just doing one thing. So that's what I'm saying with the whole, almost like a jigsaw puzzle, just trying to build, and then the last part is to try and make it come alive, I guess. And that's where I love using like ambient things, because it's almost like contentum, and like in the movie it binds things together. So even though things are coming from different places and different sounds, if you have one thing going that's pretty you know, stable, then it's like a glue almost, and I like that.
Last question is about the presence of a girl. After Pale Green Eyes, she becomes more and more, there's a voice of a girl. And so there are a lot of songs that is almost like a duet. That's when your voice can go a bit louder and like more crooner. And also the backing vocals sometimes are responding you to give groove, to give more power. Yeah, was it important for you to add some other voices so you can express yours better?
Well, I don't know if I've thought about it like that, but it's almost it's like the yin yang thing. I love a good. I've never really done like a duet because that's a special type of song, and it's very.
We're not talking Barbara Streisand and Joe.
No, but don't get me wrong. I love a good duet, but it's a whole different genre. But I do like, you know, there's one girl who sings on a couple of my songs called Silje Salmonsen. She's most of all an actor. She doesn't do that much music, so she has a very special way of singing that's very, well, it's very chilled, very relaxed. She doesn't have a lot of vibrato. She doesn't have a lot of these things that you know, as a singer, after a while, you kind of tend to use the same phrasings, and she doesn't really have that. She sings it, and she has a very high-pitched voice, which means that I can go dark, and it fits well together. So it's definitely almost like you know, just use it as a different element, I guess. Almost just like an instrument, you know.
Let's say you're the Norwegian Gainsbourg, working with actors because they're very
not that crazy. But once again, talking about Gainsbourg, up there on my top 3 list, together with Voodoo and one of Gillian Welsh's albums, I think Histoire de Mélodie Nelson is the sexiest record ever. But also sleazy, also you know, a bit gross, but very, very cool.
Serge Gainsbourg on the top 3, and D'Angelo, of course. Thank you very much, Thomas. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.